Good day, my friend. I would say to you, happy Friday, but I don't even know what that means. I don't know what day it is half of the time. It doesn't even matter. Happy Friday. What does that mean? I don't know. That's one of the dumbest things. You know, the worst day of the week, as you know, is Tuesday. Very, very simple. And the reason for that is, I think, obvious. Monday, you start off, you say, okay, it's first day of the week, whatever, here we go. Maybe, we'll give it a shot. Maybe there's some look of whatever it is. And this is when you have a job. This is when you have a regular job for the most part. School, maybe. But when you have something where you are forced to be in this situation, you normally say, Monday, we'll give it a shot. Wednesday is good because you can say, well, it's hump day, as we say, middle of the week. Hey, we'll give it a shot. This is great. Yeah. Whoa, hey, this is great. Okay. Thursday. Well, tomorrow's Friday. That's the best day. Tomorrow's Friday, and one more day to the weekend. Friday's here. Everybody's working for the weekend. Thank God it's Friday. Remember that disco song, right? Remember that? Okay. Saturday. This Sunday is, the day of reflection or whatever it is, and then Monday comes. But the day that has no anything is Tuesday. It's just there. There's no description. It's the day after the first day and the day before the middle of the week. It's just there. I hate Tuesdays. I hate 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the ugliest time of the day. The way the light is, hate it. And even in summer, it's just not a good time. Early morning is great. There's some times that are just beautiful. There is nothing more fascinating to me, more beautiful than to be up, to be in New York, in Manhattan. Oh, I heard a woman yesterday, she was talking about the Titan. This submarine, this tragic thing, the Titan. People, I don't know where this came from. People are not able to pronounce the letter T. Where did this, I don't understand. The Titan and the Titanic, I guess. But to be able to see the morning, to see the sun, oh my God, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Early morning, early people going to work, and it's just, love that time of day. Love it. And I'm glad you're here, by the way. Welcome. Everybody doing fine, I trust. Please make sure and you're not doing this enough, and I don't want to scold you, but you must be a part of this thing, but you must like this. It's critical that you like this. Number 2, you must subscribe. If you're not subscribing, I don't know what to tell you. You must subscribe, I guess, because you're here, and you have to hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams, to be notified. And sometimes you are, sometimes you don't. I don't get notified all the time myself. I don't know what that's about, okay? And also, don't forget our sponsor, mypillow.com. Love those people. Got a special deal. You mention promo code Lionel, and you get a free gift. Huh? Promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. And there's a link right there for you. Okay, where do I begin? First, have you seen one of my favorite, I guess, I don't know, again, what he's a Marxist, he's I can never look up his name, oh God, you know who he is, he talks like this, and he blows his nose, you know what I'm talking about? God. What is his name? I can never get it right. You know who I'm talking about. I see him every now and then, and I'm fascinated. He wears a t-shirt, and the symbol of this, and he's always going like this. You know who I'm talking about, and I got to look up his name, and I got him as Zlaslav. I don't know. I don't know even what he's saying. I don't know if he's a Marxist. I don't know what he's talking about. But I just watch him for. I was like, this is great. He wears like a T-shirt. It's not even a good T-shirt. Like something that you wear around the house. I love this guy. He took, and he's on with. They had him with Jordan Peterson. Oh my God, have you seen that? Oh God, it's just not even fair. I love that. I love that. It's like watching a job boy against a headliner. To use protective, what is his name? Richard Wolff. Don't ever put Richard. Richard Wolff is a gentleman, a dear friend, one of the most enlightened people. He's a Marxian economist. He is, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Look at this, George Soros. You don't know who I'm talking about, do you? You don't know who I'm talking about. I got to do this again. I've got to. Okay, there we go. Zizek. Slavoj Zizek. This is it. Slavoj Zizek. This is the guy. Spend some time watching this. He is a Slovenian philosopher, cultural theorist, whatever that means, and public intellectual. He is an international director of whatever it is, visiting professor. I think he's a Marxist. He's a whatever it is. He's famous for the Ljubljana School of Psychoanalysis, a group of Slovenian academics working on German idealism, Lacanian psychoanalysis. One of my favorites, the sublime object of ideology. He could be completely full of it for all I know, but he is the most interesting person to watch. Please just spend some time. It is. I wish. Now, if Tucker insists upon getting somebody on, there he is. Let me spell his name. That's it. Check out that. Slavoj Zizek. He talks like this, and he has sibilants. Sibilants. He has this way of it. You know at any moment he's just, and he rubs his nose. Like sometimes when your nose itches and you go, excuse me, God. This is the whole time. Anyway, watch that. One of the most interesting, fascinating deliveries there is. But anyway, I digress. And I can digress because I want to. I did a brand new video which I wanted to do for the longest time. And it's about my subject, my favorite subject, which is that of specifically habit. Habit, protocol, tradition, mythology, things that we do and why. Because I am a behavioral observer. And that's what I do. And let me give you this right now. This is the shareable link. And this is where you can first. And the question is very simply, why do we wear a mask? Why do people wear a mask when they drive their car alone? And it's a subject which is the most interesting. And there is no ability of anybody to even look at this thing rationally. And I will explain this to you. There's nobody who can talk about it rationally or intelligently. And the reason why is something which is very, very interesting. It's something which you've probably noticed. Maybe you have if you've seen this. Everybody wants to be, more than anything else, funny. It means more to people than anything you can imagine. It truly, they want to be funny. So they're not funny. They're not remotely funny or clever, and nobody's ever told them this. They don't know how to respond. They don't know how to react. They just do this. So they will respond in the most base of ways, which is the subject of this we'll talk about. And they'll say things in a way just because it's just not funny. They'll refer to people as a-holes, or they'll be crude. And say, no, that's not. And I want you to understand something. Remember this. Find out what you are not good at. Find out what you are not good at, and either don't do it publicly or work on it before you do it publicly. I used to work in a newsroom, and there was a woman there who thought she could sing. She thought she could sing. Somehow somebody told her, you're a great singer, and you are great, and you are going to go far, and your voice is so good, and so you are a natural. They had to have told her that. And all of a sudden, there'd be some song someplace, and she would break out in this kind of a weird... Another woman I knew who thought her favorite song was, if you were, especially if there was alcohol involved, she would yell, "That's my song." It was "You're So Vain," and it would come out, "You're so vain." I don't know where this came from, what this pronunciation was. And I always wanted to do with the first woman I talked about, the one who could sing, kind of like Woody Allen and Annie Hall. Instead of getting Marshall McLuhan to come out, I'd always want to say, you have a very interesting voice. But here's somebody I think who you should hear, and I wish I could just pull out Jennifer Nettles. Jennifer Nettles has a style that nobody, if you want to be, if you just listen to her, wow. And I want to say, and I would love to say, that's what it sounds like. Okay. So there are these people who do this stuff, and they do these styles, and they do these things, and people really want to be funny. They want to be funny, and there is no editing with keyboards. They will just say things. And they're not funny. There's clever, and there's good, and there's sometimes there's just mean. I worked years ago. There was a show called did a show at Comedy Central. No, not Comedy Central. Excuse me, the Court TV. Pardon me. And there were people from Comedy Central who would come. They were comedy writers, and some were they were just the meanest people. Mean, and their humor was mean, and very, very base. There is a movie of. Have you seen this about Joan is Awful? Have you heard about me reference the show Joan is Awful, Black Mirror? You could tell there's a scatological, almost a Freudian reference in this, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That's another predisposition of these people. They're very, very, I know I'm belaboring the point. I'll get to the point in a moment, but when Blazing Saddles came out, by the way, I will say this and people will go crazy. When Blazing Saddles came out first, there was a wonderful scene. There was a campfire scene. And the campfire scene was great because it was so over the top, gross, if that makes any sense to you, okay? You understand that? Okay. And people could not handle the significance of the joke because they would trip over the obviousness of it. Flatulence around a campfire and beans. And that's all they noticed. And it was very, very funny. And it really taught me something. It's like, people are just not, they just don't, they're very, very guttural. And what happens is today you will see, especially by virtue of, this is my wireless, this keyboard or whatever it is, people will have to respond. It's patellar. Doesn't have to be funny. Doesn't have to be good. There's no thought involved. Nothing. Okay. So two things. I did one brand new piece. I just gave you the link on why people wear a mask. And it has to do with habit, has to do with protocol, and it has to do with what we do in terms of tradition and our own particular idiosyncrasies as humans. That's what we do. That is the most interesting. It's not to sit there and mock people. That's not the point. Why do I say this? There is the low-hanging fruit. Very easy to get, very easy to grasp, very easy to understand. It's also sometimes maybe not the best fruit. Sometimes it's like fruit that falls on the ground. It's kind of rotten. It's already ripe. But anyway, don't want to get into that analogy too much. I was listening today to some of the most brilliant show on YouTube I know of. is Lex Friedman. It's the best show there is, bar none. Second to that is Lex Friedman for Cretans, and that's Joe Rogan. Very important show. He has very important people on, but mixed with the cretinous, and he's like bringing culture to the unwashed, if that makes any sense. And then there's Tucker. Tucker's speeding up his output, which is good. People have a fantasy about Tucker Carlson. He's their boyfriend. Today, we become aligned not with people, not with causes, but with people. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of going after the issue of pandemic information, we went after Fauci. It became Fauci. Let's blast Fauci. Not the people that we need to really deal with, but let's blast Fauci. Fauci's the bad guy. Not the subject. Fauci is. He's the bad guy. You see what I'm saying? He's the bad guy. He's the person. Not the subject matter, him. We don't like it. And he talks like that. He sounds like Harvey Firestein. And people talked about the way he looked and the way he sounded. And said, well, listen to what he's saying. Don't you know what he... No. We want to talk about him. And then Bobby Kennedy said the case against Fauci, and it became personal, which is wonderful. They take all of the attention, and they miss the big picture. Sometimes you have to make it personal. For example, if you really want to talk about Russia, you have to talk about certain things. You have to talk about Putin. He's the leader. If you want to talk about NATO, you have to talk about Victoria Nuland. She's basically the orchestrator of it. You can say whatever you want. Okay? But don't talk about the way Victoria Nuland looks or Putin looks. We don't care about that. I mentioned Zashlav Vijay because I just think there is no excuse for anybody not to go on TV. I like anybody who says, this is the way I talk, this is the way. People who have port wine stains, I love people who say, this, I own this. This is my thing. I had a friend of mine who stuttered. It became so, I stuttered as a kid, but his stutter was so, it was a name, it was his thing. He owned it. The people would actually stutter around him and not even realize it. Anyway. So sometimes these people come along and they want you to make fun of them. For example, Rachel Levine. Rachel Levine was is, I think she's from Philly, the doctor. She is the not Surgeon General, but she's in that office. She's a transgender. I would make it a point never to discuss the way she looks or to say, this man in a dress. You've just lost the argument. You just lost the argument. Thank you. Rachel, mission accomplished. Thank you very much. Rachel Dolezal claimed to be black when... I'm doing this, Zaslav. Rachel Dolezal claimed to be black when she wasn't. That's the issue. Don't talk about the way Rachel Dolezal looks. Talk about the issue. This is something I can't explain. Tucker Carlson always makes it personal. Apparently there is an author or somebody who wrote an article, I think in Vice, and Tucker is a catty, nasty, sometimes bitchy. It's very unappealing. He goes after the way you look, and he goes after the way you sound, and he goes after her uptick and a nose ring, and there's always this personal ad hominem. You know, he gives it, but he wants to show you, look how clever I am. Well, a couple of spinsters drinking warm box wine in their drawing room, and they're pre-war Columbus Avenue, just like, okay, you're cool, I get it. This woman, whoever she is, they talked about her uptick, which is the way they speak in Brooklyn. No, Tucker, it's pretty much everywhere. And the uptick, you can go back. And there's also the verbal fry, the croak. It goes back, believe it or not, right around the time of Moon Zappa, a little bit, Valley Girl. The Kardashians really spread it. The way they talk like that. That monotonous, monotonal. Okay. Tucker is petty, catty. He's a very angry, unhappy. I know people are going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, no, he is. No, he is. And it's what motivates him. It's one of the things that, because he's just, you know what I mean? He's a guy who always, he had the bow tie, and I love the bow tie, but Roger Ailes, I think, told him, lose the bow tie, and that was your thing. I don't know why he had to change. He was left and this. And he's given articles, and he said things before, and he's not yet, put it this way, he's not centered yet. There is a point you get when you age, and I say that age, where you settle, where your concrete is firm. You say, this is who I am, I got it. This is it. I've been through a lot of changes. I've been through my adolescent years, through my 20s, and my 30s, and this, and that, and the Reagan years, and now here, this is it. I'm here. Bobby Kennedy has that. It comes with age. There's no way around it. The best people in the world are, first of all, kids who still kiss their parents and love to be kids. They're the most perfect human being. And the best human being is the grandmother who doesn't give up about anything, who is the best woman, the smartest woman, the sharpest woman, the toughest, the funniest, doesn't care about, wears a muumuu and doesn't, the best. It goes back to the inherent superiority of women, which culture tries to destroy, and sometimes does, but that's for another show. With age, it's not maturity, it's settling. It's like you kind of see, okay, I got it now. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I know what I am. This is the way I am. That's it. Tucker still, and he had a blow. There's a lot of psychoanalysis here, but it's very important. There's a big blow he took. When they bounced him, let me tell you something. How many of you wonderful, great people ever lost a job, were fired from a job, and it crushed you? It crushed you. A job you had been with for 30 years, and it's even worse when you're in the media business. For 30 years, and one day there's a new owner, or maybe it's the I don't know, the owner's son or a new company. I've seen this. I know more people who once they were fired, like before they hit retirement, and they just their health cratered. I've seen this. I've seen this before. Your job and who you are, it's critical. They went to Tucker. I don't think he knew any of this that was coming. None of it. And he was the best. He was the guy at the network, in the market, in the nation, that was it. Everybody else was. Now, granted, in terms of numbers, no. Joe Rogan has more people. Thank you, Liz. Show the love and like this. Yes, thank you, Liz. Yes, like this. So smart. So good. So smart. Thank you for that. You're so correct. So correct. All right. Think about this. It hurts. I mean, it hurts. And then these people that you have made your enemy. These people that you have been vicious, they are dancing on your grave, and it really hurts. You don't say to yourself, well, this is a part of what's going on. No, 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 no. It kills you. It hurts. And the one who's who's laughing the hardest is Hannity, who is just, believe me, as soon as they got rid of O'Reilly, that was the best thing. He goes, yeah, I'm the guy now. And anybody who follows Rush and follows Hannity, listen, this is not meant as a slam. He's a survivor. He knows exactly what he's doing. No hits, no runs, no errors. You ever notice any big problems with Hannity? Nope. Ever know any big controversy? Nope. Anybody calling for his head? Nope. Really? Not really. That's the secret. Nothing dangerous. Nothing. He's there. He's the rock group your parents don't mind. He's like Herman's Hermits. You know what I mean? Sort of. It's like, okay. There's nothing dangerous about him. Laura, what? Nothing. Nothing. Gut bucket? No, nothing. It's just funny, you know. But Tucker, oh God, that was dangerous. Oh no, he's talking to Orban. What's he talking about? He's talking about the NSA. Remember that story? And I got a call from a friend of mine. He says, you got to get to Washington. I got to tell you something. They're listening to you. Who? The NSA. The NSA. Did you check this out with people? Why are you telling people that? Why are you going on the air? Oh, this guy, he's okay, Icarus. Okay. He and Joe Rogan. We'll get to that one next. Okay, be careful with this. Be careful. Why are you doing this? And I've seen this. I'm the biggest. Okay, all right. I can do whatever I want to. All right. Some people can, some people can't, but we'll see. Tony Bobolinsky. Where'd that one go? Remember that? We lost. We sent this UPS or DA, whatever, and we lost. Where'd that one go? Nowhere. You don't think that puts him in the crosshairs? Remember what Chuck Schumer said? They will find 6 ways a Sunday. They're going to get you. And then Orban, oh dear God. Did you see that one? Oh my God. Viktor Orban from Hungary? Oh God. This is not a good idea. Okay? This was just, I mean, he went rogue. Remember that? And I kept thinking, let's see how long this lasts. Then he went after Russia and Ukraine. Okay, that was all right. You never heard any of this stuff. You never heard anybody. And to his credit, I guess. You know what I mean? I guess. You know, sometimes it's very difficult for you to say the truth. But like these people on this submarine, that's just stupid. I mean, not that I like, but not they weren't stupid, but doing that. You see, sometimes you can figure, I can do what I want. I'm Ted Turner. I'm this. I'm that. I'm a billionaire. Okay. Be careful. Be careful. Again, that was a tragedy. I'm not saying they were stupid. I know people are going to take it the wrong way, but everybody, there was the due diligence on that one, I think, was tragically rather insufficient. Okay? Now, so let's keep going. So this happened, and all of a sudden, there's this. Now what do we do? Well, the funny thing too is he comes along and he says, "Hey, I'm on Twitter." And what does Elon say? Oh, maybe. Wait a minute, maybe. Hey, Elon, it's me, man. It's me. If you ever want to, if you can, go back and watch his interview with Elon Musk. It was the most incredible thing. It was just like, watch this. Like, it was embarrassing. Hey, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. And Elon Musk is just loving this thing. Elon Musk is what Tucker wants to be. Elon Musk is the coolest dude on the, you know what I mean? He's one of those, everybody wants to meet him. Everybody knows him. He is loving this. And if you think Elon Musk is some kind of rogue character who's there to fight the deep state, you're out of your mind. Okay. Now we move into other categories. So there's Tucker. So what is he doing? He's making fun of this woman. I don't know whoever she is. And she's young, and he's making fun of the way she talks. No. He can't help that. He's snippy, catty, mean, nasty. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let me give you something. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. I'm going to tell you this. First, invariably in your life, somebody's going to tell you something. A piece of advice that makes no sense. I can tell you that if you're in the world of media, the person who is your news director, program director, invariably knows nothing what they're doing, has no vision, no nothing, doesn't understand what you're doing, just the worst, just some relic, somebody's friend, somebody who fills a spot. And they're going to give you advice. It could be a parent, could be a relative, could be a spouse, could be somebody. And you have to acknowledge what they're saying, but you don't have to agree with it. So what you do is you look them in the eye and you say, interesting. You know, I was wondering, I think maybe you should next time start off your show with maybe a little kind of an anecdote about your day and kind of bring people in, which is totally contrary, let's say, to your style. You say, I see. Now, you haven't said I agree. You're just saying, I hear you. I acknowledge you. I hear this. Okay. That's what you can do. I see. Interesting. Very interesting. I see. Don't say you agree. Just, That's it. That's it. So, or you give them the mishkina. Look, I don't know how you spell that. In Sicilian, mishkina is a poor thing. Pobrecito. Oh, poor. Mishkina. Pobre. This poor guy comes along. This kind of like bless his heart. Oh, it really, whatever her name is. And this girl, don't call her young, and this author from Vice has an article in which she is calling for the removal of Joe Rogan from Spotify because he dares to provide the platform for an alternative theory as to virus transmissibility. Bless her heart. That's the way you do it. Dismissal. You don't even mention her name. You say, well, who is she? I'm not going to give you her name. Well, I want to see her. No. I'm not going to help you do that. No, she says it's unimportant. She's just somebody, she kind of had to do that. And Vice, listen, Vice was this one of them. Shane Smith, years ago, they were worth $5 billion. And now they're just. So, listen, let's face it. Sometimes you have to. We've all been there, and you just dismiss her. Doesn't matter. She's just somebody writing something and nobody cares and whatever. That's exactly what you do. And when you go after Fauci, you go after the idea and not make fun of the way he looks or how tall he is or if he's this guy, this new Dr. Peter, whatever dude, this feller with the bow tie. Don't make fun of the way he looks. Don't make fun of the bow tie. Don't make fun of anything. And if you say, okay, he's the new Fauci, okay, fine, but go after the idea. Because what you do is, the moment you get away, and it may be fun, it may be great for clicks, it may be great for metrics, and people may love this, but the moment you get away from it, the moment you go personal, you've lost it. You've lost the argument. And they say, we won. It's going after the way he looks. When Rachel Levine came forward, I thought, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's it. They're going to just go nuts over her. You got that? Peter Hotez. See, I had to look his name up. I don't know who he is. Doesn't matter to me. And by the way, Rachel Levine, her position is she is the American pediatrician who has served United States Assistant Secretary for Health since she's an admiral in the United States Public Health Service Commission Corps. Okay, fine. I would have said the first person who mentions what she looks like, her hair, whether she's attractive, anything like that, you're fired. You're gone. You're done. You're done. If you say one thing about the way they're wanting you. And if you ask me if I didn't know better, they're putting people in there just so that you will say that. I know that sounds hard to believe, but that's exactly what's going on. But they can't do it because there's a pettiness. And it's very, very, look, if you want to just you want to just trash people, go ahead. But if you're trying to accept, you want to be your Tucker, your RFK, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is not going to make fun of what somebody looks like. Never. Don't do that. Don't do that. And Trump does that. It's this pettiness. Again, let the trolls do it. They enjoy themselves. Let them do that. It doesn't matter. Hey, look at this. Okay. People love to talk about what AOC looks like. Okay, that's okay. Not if you're running against her. This is where we are right now. Now here's the best thing. This is how frankly stupid these people are. They are elevating Bobby Kennedy to a level where he's become forbidden fruit, where he's become that cool thing that one of the things that got people to listen to grunge was because it was grunge. One of the things that I remember as a kid where we liked Alice Cooper was because Alice Cooper was dangerous. Alice Cooper, parents said, don't watch Alice, this guy's crazy. Oh, you don't like this? I'm in there. Bobby Kennedy is very, very, he's smart. He is smart. He talks about what they say. And if he talks about Fauci or talks about whatever, he advances a particular idea, not personal. That's why he's so dangerous. Now, two things. Tucker found out, okay, what are they going to do with him? Right now, he doesn't look like a threat. He's doing this Twitter thing, and he's kind of like, well, whatever. He's kind of in that area, that thing. Okay, fine. Joe Rogan, they're going to get. Oh, make no mistake about it. Oh, no, Joe Rogan, they got it. No, he's a different story. Tucker is okay. Joe Rogan is bigger than any of them. Bigger than any of them. Lex Friedman doesn't talk about that one. If you're going to take on, basically, if you want to go now and you want to undo or you want to challenge basic, quote, medicine from 2-3 years ago, you want to do that now, they're ready for you. They're ready. They've got they can just push the button and it's all lined up. This is where you go. And what Joe Rogan doesn't understand is he's not paying attention. Joe Rogan's kind of like Tucker. Joe Rogan thinks, you don't understand, I'm Joe Rogan. Famous last words on his tombstone, I'm Joe Rogan. Okay. They sit around, they say, well, I guess Anheuser-Busch thought they were Anheuser-Busch. This is the king of beers. We told them, you're going to do this. And they said, okay, we did it. Cratered the stock, destroyed a brand, just to let you know. Hey, Target, how are you doing? Disney, why are you doing this? The Dodgers, they'll do whatever you say. And if you think that the head of Spotify is going to sit there and say, no, I don't know how this thing works, but something tells me that in order to get your product out on the line, get it out, you have to use servers or clouds or something, somebody somewhere along the line. Remember the first time Neil Young came along, Mishkino Neil Young, and Joni Mitchell and Nils Lofgren, and they said, we're going to do this. Now, just so that you know, let me reiterate, I think we should live in a world where if you don't like somebody, just don't listen to them. Just don't. There are people I just don't, I just cannot connect. I cannot connect. Certain people, it's not because they're bad. Richard Dawkins, the atheist, it doesn't do anything for me. Towards the end, Christopher Hitchens got boring. I know, you're okay, whatever. I don't think people who are religious are crazy or bad or anything. I don't know. It doesn't. No. Then I hate these ponderous people who are promoting nonsense, who are basically feeding on individuals who just don't have any direction in their life, and you're getting these pseudo philosophers. But that's me. I don't want them cut off. I just don't listen. I listen to my History of Orson Welles for the millionth time yesterday. I got more out of that than any of this nonsense that people put out every single day about whatever it is. And what's interesting too is when you hear shows like, not The Rising, but these new younger, it's okay, but it doesn't even come close. It doesn't even hit you hard. But let me go back to the title of this. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is the most exciting thing that has happened in, well, since Trump. Because Trump changed everything. Trump just came along and there was never anything like him. Whether you like him or not, doesn't matter. In terms of the sheer political firepower, he was like nothing anybody's ever seen. Period. It's God's honest truth. He is like nothing I've ever seen. Period. There's nothing like him. Nothing. Now, again, you consider to go, well, what do I say? No. In terms of just the little timeout. Who remembers Tiny Tim? Remember Herbert Corey, whatever? Remember Tiny Tim? The first time you saw Tiny Tim on Laugh-In, it was Laugh-In. Then Johnny Carson. Remember Miss Vicky? They got married. Remember Tiny Tim? First time you saw that, I thought this was the greatest thing in the world. Not because I like the music. Tiptoe Through the Tulips. What are you talking about? I thought this is something I've never seen before. What the hell? What is this? That's like Zastrow. She's and this the probably the hedonistic Machiavellian the. That's the great. What is this? I love this. I don't know what the hell he's saying. I think it's great. Lex Friedman. Do you think that LLM is going to change the... Who is this? What is this? What's the matter with this guy? What is he, okay? Do you think there's been the artificial this? Best show, best, brilliant. It just pulled me in. Wow. This is great. Joe Rogan, same thing. But Joe's got to be more... Just don't be Icarus. Don't fly too close to the sun. Remember what they're setting you up. And also, Bobby Kennedy is not going to bail you out. Because Bobby Kennedy is Bobby Kennedy. And what he's doing that's so smart, he's going on every show there is. Of course, if he goes on your show, there's certain things you should not be talking about. If you want to, I'm just saying. I've loved people all my life who say, it doesn't matter, I'm doing it my way. Dennis Hopper, Marlon Brando. Let me explain something to you. In history, the people that just were changed everything. Elvis, and you can, I wasn't a big Elvis. Doesn't matter whether you're a fan, just that's what I'm saying. Elvis, the Beatles, to be sure. You will never understand what Brando did. You will never understand what Brando did. Never. Ever. You will never, ever be able to grasp what it did. On 44th Street here in Hell's Kitchen, there's the Actors Studio. And in American acting, in particular, everything changed. And Brando, Streetcar Named Desire, that was it. They went on Broadway. Who was it, Jessica Tandy? I don't know who she was. Anyway, maybe, I don't know. That changed everything. And you could say, what? You don't understand. Nobody ever did this before. Nobody did this. People came out and they said their lines. And this guy talking about the problem with this. And he would pick something up and he'd, Remember that there was on the waterfront. There was this one scene where was it Eva Marie Saint, or he has her she drops her glove or something. Everybody else would have said cut, but this sounds like nothing now. But so he's talking, and he's putting on her glove, and they said, what is he doing? He just did stuff that he just tore everything up. Those are the people I like. Doesn't matter whether I agree with them or not. Doesn't matter. When grunge came out, fascinating. The Lower East Side, the CBGB crowd, all that, didn't like it. The Ramones didn't like it. Huge. Changed things drastically. Hip-hop, don't listen to. Huge. Hip-hop, right up in the Bronx. In one particular, you can go to the apartment where hip-hop was born. Right there. And there were other people who came along in music. Gil Scott-Heron. Love him. Absolutely. But that, sometimes it's popular, sometimes it's not. And what happened was, believe it or not, in our history, going back, again, whether you like him or not, Howard Stern revitalized AM. Rush Limbaugh cannot get near him. Cannot get near what he did internationally. Joe Rogan, unbelievable. Fox News in toto, specifically Roger Ailes, couldn't get near him. Tucker, that was weird. Nobody ever wants to talk about this. Alex Jones. When Alex Jones first hit 20 plus years ago, I don't know what happened. I'm not, I don't even want to discuss that because I don't really know. I haven't been following it. This was like nothing I ever heard, ever. It changed. This was a very pivotal time. I was hearing things like, what? What are you talking about? Globalism? Wait a minute, what? I know. Now it seems so second nature. Time of 9/11 and the internet, 2001. It was I'm telling you, if you weren't there for that, I talk to people now and I realize, my God, this was 22 years ago. I'm talking to people and they were like, some of them were like in grade school. And I just assume people are my age. I saw this. And who keeps going? Where is this thing going? And right now, oh my God, we are at the beginning of the next tidal wave. The next. And there were these people that come along, and believe it or not, Tucker is critical, Bobby Kennedy is critical, and Trump was critical because they changed it. They changed it. Do you know who was one of the most important people ever? Believe it or not? Mike Nesmith from the Monkees. Elephant Parts was one of the ideas of videos. Now, there was always music in videos. This was always from the Beatles, Catch Me If You Can. Remember the Dave Clark 5 and Help. And yeah. That was a music video. Pre-MTV. MTV changed everything to an extent. Now it's pretty much. When MTV first premiered, I remember the first Ruggles and Video Killed a Radio Star. That was monumental. It was an explosion. So you have to know. And when you've been doing this long enough, you realize that's an explosion, that's an explosion, that's an explosion. And internet, I was there for the beginning of all of this. I'm so lucky. I'm there. Let me give you another side issue here. You may not find this interesting, but I do. Because life is not about Tucker and RFK only. Do you know that restaurants are a fairly new thing? It came about in the 19th century. And they were originally here in this country at hotels where there really weren't restaurants. It was at the hotel. Just like fire departments were early 19th century, but also they were volunteer and they were part of the insurance company. The idea of a city, things that you think were always here, no. They pop up and then they take off. Food was kind of like, whatever. James Beard was the first person ever to change this. He made it popular. Julia Child changed it. A TV show? Wait a minute, what? On cooking? Who wants to watch that? Oh my God. Graham Care, Food Channel, blah, 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 blah. And today, video. Today, you can watch, they have taught people how to cook on YouTube. And I've always thought, we should have classes on, things like home ec. And no, you don't need that anymore. You're seeing this right now. And young people are enjoying air fryers like you can't believe. Wonderful. And if you want to know about an air fryer, just go right there. It's the most incredible thing in the world. Incredible. Incredible. Okay? Now that thing is taking off. So you see this, and I've seen this. I remember James Beard, I remember this, and then boom, we're off there. Learning how to play music. In the old days, you had to go to a music store, take lessons. Not anymore. Boom, boom, boom. In the old days, we thought women can't play electric guitar and bass. That's a man's thing. Oh, no, it's not. Boom. This is the most exciting time in the world. This is the most exciting. Everything is exploding. And people are still stuck in these little ruts. They're watching these little stupid things. And that's fine. That's okay. I don't mind. And the thing that you've got to understand is, if you don't see what's happening right now to politics, you're missing it. There is going to be a big revolution going on here. And also when AI and AGI hit, it's going to be bigger than anything you've ever, and I've said this to the point, it's bigger than anything you can imagine. You can't, put it this way, if you think you understand it, you don't understand it. That's what Feynman said about quantum mechanics. If you think you understand it, you don't understand it. It's bigger than anything you can imagine. I'm telling you. I am telling you. And Bobby Kennedy Jr., if whoever is running this, you are lionizing him, you're making him the forbidden fruit. And what's happening right now is you can see Tucker's trying to grab onto that, because Tucker's kind of in this weird kind of a twilight zone. Like, well, it's Twitter, but it's over here. And watch what happens with Rogan. There's so much behind the scenes. Because let me just tell you this much. If somebody says, if the shadow government says, all right, that's enough of Rogan. That's it. Whoever that person or that committee is, he goes, that's it. We're going to Anheuser-Busch him. We're going to Dylan Mulvaney him. That's it. Watch this. Get BlackRock or somebody to affect something tangentially. That's it. That's done. As soon as you, so either you, my advice, rephrase your message. People do not want to relitigate COVID again. I'm telling you right now, people went through that and people are saying, can we please get back to normal? Do you mind? Yes, there's probably going to be some litany of horrors in the future, but for the time being, can we just lay off this? I know one particular, all he cares about is mRNA this, and I'm saying you're killing your audience. People right now, you've got to figure out what it is that they want. I'm telling you. You may like something. You may think it's interesting, but your audience, they're not. Figure something new. Now, if you want to talk about what really would get people, what Joe Rogan, if somebody really wants to get Bobby Kennedy Jr., we know about, who doesn't know what Bobby Kennedy's about? Who honestly doesn't know that if he's the president, or he has any say, he has any control over CDC or NIH or whatever, we already know that. So what else does he do? Tell me why he's cool. Other people say, I don't care. The same people who wear a mask in the car. He might scare them. What else does he do? What does he stand for? Explain war to me. Did you hear Zelensky's thing about Americans got to realize that their kids may have to die in Europe or something like this? Whoa. What? Now's the time to really, 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 really ask the question. What would be the question you would ask if you were Bobby Kennedy and you were on Joe Rogan and people are watching? And I want to win, and I want to get the minds, and I want to captivate the minds of young people. What question would I ask? Tell me. What? Tell me. What would be the question? Think about it. Do I want to relitigate 3 years ago? No. Do I want to talk about this? No. Do I want to talk about peanut allergies? No. What is that about? That may be interesting for kind of cocktail talk, but no. Ask the question. What do you want to ask? What do young people want to hear? What do you have to say about what? What? Now remember, you're not in that group, so forget this. I'm talking about a 20-something or somebody who may have never voted before. What do you want to ask them? What are the things? And don't ask them something that involves any particular knowledge base. What would you ask them? First question is, do a little research. You know what young people say? They're afraid. They feel anxiety. They have service dogs. Many of them are on medication. They're afraid. They don't connect. They feel left out for whatever reason. I'm not asking whether it's valid or not. What do they say? What do you worry about your future? Empathy. Here's a guy who says, I want to know what you think. And then you speak for them. You get enough research and you say, and you have young people say, this guy, don't talk about, the CDC. No. Ask them. Ronald Reagan did it when he says, are you better off now than you were then? I wouldn't talk about Biden and Hunter. People they're not thinking like that. What do they really think about? Remember, you're on the Joe Rogan show. Who's your audience? Why are you there? What are you going for? Talking about younger people. They worry about stuff and you can't laugh at them when they talk about climate change. Bobby Kennedy is Mr. Climate. He's a falconer. This is a guy that I'd love to be a falconer. I think that's the greatest thing in the world. Raptors and falconer, water, his whole life, the environment. Have people say, I didn't know this. I've spent my whole life. Do you know what happens to us if we don't have water? Believe me, the last thing in the world anybody's thinking about right now, unfortunately, is water. Who owns the water? Have you heard any politician ever discuss who owns water? Make them say, wow, I like that. Tell them something they haven't heard. Quit talking to young people like you're doing a 50-year-old. Nobody cares about Hunter and the laptop, and that's fine. You're on the Joe Rogan show. I want to see what the demos are for Joe. It's very heavily male, obviously. But it gets out. And you want to really scare them? Have Bobby Kennedy say, oh my God, he's talking about climate change. He's talking about climate change. Talk about transgender rights. Go ahead, talk about it. Say it. It's very simple. Do you have any idea about transgender rights? I do. What do I believe in? Everybody in this country falls under the protection of the Constitution. Everybody. You don't even have to be born here, because sometimes these protections, most of the time they say persons. The Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, is about persons, not people who live here. This is a very serious thing. Now, do you believe that? Yes. Then say it. Say it. Okay. How about right to life? The Republicans are making a big deal. If they think they're going to abolish abortion, that ain't going to happen. No. No way. You're taking three things out from the Democrats: transgender, climate change, and right to life. But say it, but you're not really. This country will never support a total ban on abortion. Never. You're not going to put women in jail for having an abortion, because that's what you want. You want to put women and doctors and nurses in jail, prison for felonies. Now, that doesn't mean I'm for abortion at all. I'm a Catholic. This is where he goes. I'm a Catholic. Whether I'm a Catholic or not, I believe in the sanctity of human life. I'm sorry. But you can believe in the sanctity of human life and also believe in self-defense in the case of war. Some people believe in the death penalty. I'm sorry, there is moral relevance and moral relativity, and there's gray zones and all this stuff. Address it. When you do that, they're going to say, oh my God. Oh my God, he's talking about our stuff. Oh my God. Oh no. Because with Bobby Kennedy, he says, I'm Bobby Kennedy, and I'm the Democrats' worst nightmare. I'm going to strip your vote. I'm a third party, whether you realize it or not. And I'm taking votes from you. And what he's really saying is because of what you did to my father and my uncle. And I know who you are. And believe me, it is so clear, it is so obvious, and I realize that what I'm saying, nobody's going to listen to it. I understand that. See, that's the beauty of reality. When you get to a certain position, you realize, I understand it. I understand it. Because I understand one thing too. I don't fit into this world. I don't. And I love it like that. The moment I do, I realize I'm not a sellout. I want people to say, that's what I want. Everybody goes, yeah! I say, no, you're not thinking. Because there's no right or wrong. That's it. You understand it? That's it. Period. End of discussion. End of discussion. Period. You got it? I think you do. I think you do. I hope you do. I hope you got it. And, by the way, listen to this one. I want you to do me a big favor. Mrs. L did a great video with a mighty fancy thumbnail. And it's called Kids in Showbiz. And she has been, Lynn's Warriors, she has been this indefatigable voice. And I want you to subscribe to her. This indefatigable, inexorable voice trying to protect our kids. That simple. Just protecting kids. And they are just not even on the radar. They're nowhere to be found. Nobody. Not Hunter. Not Tucker. Hunter. Bobby Kennedy. Nobody. They talk about kids. Bobby Kennedy said he has 7 kids. Okay, fine. Whatever. I don't know. But you know, because when you destroy something like the foundation, like the future of a civilization, that's it. So please follow her. Follow her, follow her, follow her. And let me also tell you something which is important. And you don't really understand this until you grasp what I'm saying. There are certain people who have some just wonderful, wonderful Twitter feeds. And Twitter is still, I think, the best means by which we grab our news because it's very, very quick. And I think it's the easiest way. Instagram is a complete and total waste of my time. This is her Twitter handle. This is Mrs. L on Twitter. It's right there. You got that? I want you to immediately sign up because you're going to learn stuff about kids it will curl your hair. Oh, and let me also tell you something. The movement is now coming in. They are going to move in. They are changing all over the country. Connecticut, they're hitting it hard time. Norwalk, Greenwich, Jersey. It'll be there too. They're going to be moving in. They're going to be rechanging, reshuffling, reconfiguring zoning laws. Where all of a sudden, right next to you in your little nice community, there's this development for illegals. Hey! And there's nothing you can do about it. Because you don't know anything about it. There is a tsunami coming, the likes of which you are not going to believe. You ain't seen nothing yet. So while today was a microscopic look at, Tucker and Bobby Kennedy, and that's fine. But step back and look at the mosaic. Know when you want to be a microscope, when you want to be a telescope. When you look far away, when you look at something very, almost like a Mandelbrot fractal, very close. Keep zeroing in. You got to know when to do this. Don't waste your time wasting your time. Turn cable news off. Unless you want to see just an idea of kind of like what they're doing. Like when you sample a radio. Oh, okay. That's what's... Fox News is so bad. It is so lame. It's like when you read something, you say, what am I eating? And you read the side of the box, go, oh my God, there's no food in here. It's all chemicals. It tastes kind of okay. It seems like it's the same, but no, that's Fox News. I don't know what happened to them. CNN's about to sell. It's over. That model is over. Listen to what I'm saying. That model is over. Cable news, it doesn't make any sense. There was a show the other day. There's a network that had on, I told you, a timer, a countdown for the oxygen. You know, when the oxygen is going to be depleted in this Titanic. It's horrible. Turns out they were most probably killed almost immediately, and all of this was for naught. In any event, so this network was so bad. Somebody thought, that's a good idea. Let's have I've got this timer. Yeah, put it up. Not realizing how tacky is this. But it doesn't matter because nobody watches it. And people did watch it just to see how tacky this thing was. This is over. This model is over. There's some of the best news that's available right now. And that's not how people are getting the news. Ask yourself, when you have somebody who's younger, ask your daughter or son or grandson, how do they get their news? How do they get their news? Believe me, it's not Fox News. It's not Newsmax. It's not MSDNC. It's not that at all. Learn. That's all. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. We'll be back tonight. Don't forget our good friends at My Pillow. Use promo code Lionel. Get a big deal there. Big, big, big deal. And also sign up. Don't forget my private stuff, which is a little bit more saucy, at LionelMedia.com. That's that paywall stuff. That's where we have freedom. Not that we don't have freedom here, but you know what I mean. All right, friends. See you tonight at 7 p.m. Remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.